All right, this is Sue's 11 Tarot. Okay, we're going to do air signs today. And I was picking up some energies. I was picking up Taurus, Uranus energy. And we're going to start with Gemini. That's what it looks like. And what's interesting is some of these cards came up, okay, before. Okay, so what I'm going to do is sometimes when the cards keep coming up, the same ones, it's like there's still more to the message that hasn't come through. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to read each card directly from this book. It's called Alice in Wonderland by Paolo Barberi. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and start with this one. So this is Gemini. Okay, so let's start with this, the Mad Hatter. Okay, so I feel like you might be associating with people that might seem a little uniquely different, right? Because what's interesting here is this one right here, okay, it's a lot like that Uranus energy, but I couldn't tell. This one was the last card out, but what's funny is it was like interchangeable. Like this could actually be in the beginning here. Okay. All right. So for some of you, you could have felt like you were in some sort of loop here. Okay. All right. Or program. Okay. So these are war stories of Gemini. Okay, so we're talking about, and it may not be actual battlefield. This could be like the psyche. Okay, so you can look at it like that, or actually what's going on in the physical realm if we get any of that. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so now you may be hanging out with people. It may seem more refreshing to hang out with different people. And I was getting like a lot of fringe energy. Okay, so hanging out with people who are uniquely different. Okay, now let's read the Mad Hatter 27. Okay, which is 9. So you're trying to bring something to a close here. Okay, 27. All right, let's see. Okay, Gemini. Trying to bring something to a close. Okay. Oh, here we go. Almost read it in Italian. Okay, here we go. Let's go back. Okay. All right. This character's name is derived from the Victorian phrase, mad as a hatter, stuck in an endless, chaotic tea party. Okay, so see, that's what I was getting. It was like feeling like you couldn't get out of something that you got into. It's like that song, Hotel California, right? You could check in, but you can't leave. Okay, that kind of energy. Okay, so, and you could feel like there's some chaotic energy. Sometimes when there's crystallization happening, that means change in the physical sphere, it can look kind of funky. All right, and the key is to take those moments where you can listen to that still small voice. Okay. Carol's Mad Hatter, who was fond of poetry and unanswerable riddles, showed a neurotic tendency to have unpredictable behaviors and make nonsensical comments. He had a wild and indomitable imagination. Okay, so I feel like you could be dealing with some energies that are similar to your own, okay, and also mirroring energy is what I'm getting. Okay. All right, so let's see. You could be dealing with a Leo or an Aquarius. Okay. You could be dealing with another Gemini energy. Okay. All right, so here we go. You may feel caught up in a never ending cycle, oh my God, of some sort of trapped in a social, a sort of, wait, back up. You may feel caught in a never ending cycle of some sort or trapped in a societal pressure to conform. Yeah, this Uranus energy won't let you. Yet the powerful tool that could help you know. Wait, okay, so yet the powerful tool that could help you now is already within yourself, right? That still small voice. Okay. All right. Sorry, I was getting some information. Okay, so your creativity is the tool or the path out if you're in some sort of funkiness, okay, or crystallization. So when crystallization happens, you have to really take care of your body and be mindful of that DNA because our cells are powerful. Okay, so we got to take care of that body, and that self care can help the cells and also receive and express energy. So that's important. Okay. Now, the Leo moon was showing take care of your heart, blood pressure, okay, and lungs pump the heart. So it's important to maybe do some walking meditations, stretches, roll your shoulders, when you feel tight, those kinds of things. Have some tea, relaxing tea, herbal teas for some of you. All right, okay. Use it to create a world of your own in which you give yourself full permission to be exactly who you are meant to be. Okay, so if it's some sort of Las Vegas casino, okay, and you see that vision, I would say, find a collaboration energy in all that. Okay, now here. All right, so how could you fully embrace everything that you are with all your lights and your shadows? Okay, so embracing all aspects of you. Okay, and I feel like it's like unapologetic energy. It doesn't mean sometimes that's necessary, right? Okay, apologizing. If you can't to the other person, to yourself. Okay, now let's read this one. A little door to a new land. Oh, that's so interesting. When I was trying to read this card, it was like the words were doing its own thing. Okay. So that could be like the mercurial energy, Mercury retrograde. Okay, so we want to watch out and watch our speech. And as we can witness, right, our mind, then we can choose the perfect word, okay, for everything. And looking at cause and effect before speaking, maybe. Okay, something like that. All right, so let's read this. A little door to a new land. Okay, now this was coming out as having the right energy to go to the next level. Okay, so let's see. 3. In the story, after falling for quite a while, okay, so we're seeing like stocks falling, okay, so stocks falling, okay, is creating a panic in the universe, okay, and so I feel like all is not lost, but is that turnaround really coming? That's the thing. Okay. So then you have to really look at it. Yeah, really look at it. It's like, it's like looking at the possibilities of whatever choice you made. Do you really see a turning point there? Okay. All right, anyway, after falling for quite a while, Alice hit the bottom of the rabbit hole and found herself in a long hall. Behind a curtain, she found a small door that required a golden key to be opened. On the other side of the door, at the end of a small corridor, Alice spied the loveliest garden. Oh, and that was coming up as an actual spy in another reading. Okay. All right, so Alice spied the loveliest garden as she had ever seen. Okay, so we got to watch out for that energy at this time. Is like, does it really look greener on the other side? Are we expanding right where we are? Are we looking like everyone else has more than that's like not appreciating, right? Especially if you're accusing others of not being appreciative. It's like, are we not appreciating what we have and the natural resources that God gave us right here, right? Because that coveting energy is what causes wars a lot of times. All right, on the other side of the door, at the end of the small corridor, Alice spied the loveliest garden that she had ever seen, and she was eager to walk through it. Unfortunately, she was too tall to pass through the tiny door. Okay, so now we could be talking about density there, right? Density. And especially if we're not taking care of our body, right? Like we should, eating the right nutrients and feeding, our feeding healthy thoughts, right? Um, that density could cause something not to manifest. So we have to really look at that too. Okay. Meaning of this card is actually a new shore is close at hand. Yeah, see, it takes a certain frequency or energy here. Okay. All right, so, or vibration for Earth. Okay, so, all right. There's this little okay. A new shore is close at hand, maybe a new project or a new love. However, or a new connection in career. However, there is this little something that gets in your way, preventing you from reaching this goal, but not for long. This obstacle is not impossible to overcome. It simply requires that you show a bit of ingenuity, inventiveness, and adaptability. That's a big one right there. Adaptability. That's been coming up in all the readings. To fill all requirements. Key question. What is this new garden you wish to step into, and what is stopping you? Okay, sometimes what is stopping you is the gut, right? What is your gut saying, right? Instead of what everybody else wants, what is your gut saying? What is your truth saying? Because, people could lead you into, it's like, what is that? Yeah, it's the kind of energy. It's like if someone said to jump off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge, right? That kind of energy. Where is that coming up? It's interesting. All right. So it's like horde mentality, right? There's a bunch of cows, right? And one cow says, let's go in this direction. Should all the cows go, right? But we're replacing that with humans. Okay, something like that. Herd mentality. Okay, now let's go to this one. Waking up. Okay, now see, there's this whole thing, right, in America where there's this battle of wokeness or whatever. I feel like there's some sort of common ground because we need to be awake. We really need to be awake. And if there's some sort of shadow energy trying to force people not to be awake by doing the woke, whole anti woke thing, right? That's a problem because we have to be awake. We have to be present in the moment. We have to be tuned in. And that is so important. And if there's a whole government of people, administration of people saying, don't be awake, that's a problem. Okay. So it's not talking about policies, and it's not talking about the existing status quo. It's talking about being awake and being present in the moment. Because if you're pushing against being against wokeness or awake, right? Being awake. That sends a whole message across all of the United States. And that's when infiltration from shadow energy can happen. So that you have to be present in the moment. That's the message. Okay. All right. And there was a lot of pushing against energy. And what I was suggesting was that allow the change to happen, and it's not even the whole Democrat Republican thing. It's something beyond that. For example, okay, so you have the structure here, right? It's like, so the president picks this whole cabinet, and everyone blames the president and the cabinet, and they are a part of it, right? Okay. But beyond the cabinet, there are advisors from each different departments, and there's something funky going on in those areas because we're getting the same results, not just in Republican Party, not just in Democratic Party. So there's something going on in the upper echelons that is also causing the pushback, that is also causing these little struggles, energy struggles. Okay. Spiritual struggles for some, okay. So we need to really address that because that could end up in a wider war in other parts of the world. Okay. All right, so let me read that. Waking up. At the end of the Knave of Hearts, trial, okay, hearts, trial, okay. All right, so some of you could have been dealing with a lot of legal issues here, or something you did cause a rift, okay, okay, or a pushback, okay. All right, so at the end of the Knave of Hearts trial, Alice woke up from a long sleep and found that her journey in Wonderland had been nothing but a dream. Okay, so these are like passing segments of time, and that's really important because if we're not present in the moment and we're not awake, then it's like you have this whole sleep period that can have a karmic repercussion that sounds across the world. Okay, so that's important. She told her sister as many details as she could remember from her amazing adventures. Okay, so in sleeping state, when you wake up, have a piece of paper and pencil if you have a dream and jot it down. If you're moving around in your day, pay attention. Spirit or God or whatever you want to call it will also communicate with you during the day. So you got to pay attention to your day. Don't just bang around without paying attention. All right. Then she ran off to get some tea, all the while thinking what a wonderful and curious dream it had been. Okay. All right. So, but dreams in human dream state doesn't have the kind of repercussions that not being awake in this physical reality has. Okay, so we got to remember that. You have lived many adventures. Okay, this is the meaning of the card. You have lived many adventures. You may wish to call them a dream or a nightmare. Yeah, right? The nightmare dream. Okay, for some moments were fun and some were really tough, but they all made you grow and expand your spiritual awareness. Okay, so that's what it's like, evolving, right? And being more awake. Your next job is to find out where you want this wake-up call to get you to, and which direction you will choose from here. What are you waking up to today? What is your current growing awareness, and what was the wake-up call that led you there? Okay, so I feel like a lot of people are getting wake-up calls here. Okay, I try to give wake-up calls and they try to block it. So, Lord Jesus. All right, here we go. Okay, so this was the next card. Oh, I haven't seen this card. Oh, look at the butterfly. So it's like bringing in the transformation with your wisdom. Okay. All right. It's kind of like looking like the Tin Man a little bit, like if I only had a heart, right? All right, so make sure you're taking care of your lungs, your heart, your body. Okay, so what is all this cards? 5 of spades. Ew. 7 of diamonds and 2 of spades. Who's playing cards here? Oh wait, oh my god. That's been a thing that's been coming up in the physical realm here. Okay, playing cards. And I felt like it was playing cards with people's lives. I didn't like it at all, the energy. Okay, let's read what the card says. Oh my god. All right, 18. Painted roses. In the story, okay, in the garden of the Queen of Hearts, Alice met 3 playing cards shaped Sorry, I need light here. Give me a minute. In the garden of the Queen of Hearts, Alice met 3 playing card shaped gardeners who were putting red paint on white roses. The reason for this was the queen only wanted red roses in her garden, and the poor gardeners, having planted white roses by mistake, risked having their heads cut off in punishment. Wow, there's like layers of information here. Which one to go to? It's like those stones that I saw in those other cards, stacked stones. Oh, like pancakes. Okay, layers of energy here. Hold on. Let me try to pick the right one. Oh, okay. You know, a while back, there was this whole push and pull around roses at the White House, right? It's like, okay, that upsets me because Plant Kingdom, they're living also just like us, okay? And it really upsets me when people just destroy, right? Things to replant something. Okay, that really upset me, but it's okay. It's like a killing thing, but people don't see plants as living like us because they don't bleed necessarily. But I'm sure that. Okay. So, anyway, let's not put my input in there. Let me just read it. So, in the area right around the White House, there's a bunch of roses, and there was a change, and that caused a upheaval. Okay. And now this could also symbolize what's going on now in wars. Okay, now we're getting to the war stuff more. Okay. All that other stuff was precursors. Okay, that energy that came before the war. Okay. So now if you're looking at this, this could represent Russia. Okay. And them, it's okay. And so it's like that pure energy being painted over, and things being brought in through blood, right? Okay. That's that 5 spade. That's tough energy there. 5s. That's the lower 5th energy that kept popping up and wanting to be heard. Okay, so the 4th dimension is like love and sacrificial energy. It's like that Jesus energy. We're beyond that now, but people still a lot of times want to express that. Okay, so that's fine. But the ultimate story of Jesus was forgiveness. Okay, so that was popping up a lot. Okay, but the lower 5th is still, it's like if the demons were trying to shackle your feet, it's like kicking off that last bit of energy to move into the higher fifth. Okay. So what it looks like here is, okay, I'm just going to read the card. All right, painted roses. Okay, so that was like also shown in the physical reality with the changes of the roses. Okay, so that's there. Okay, now meaning of this card is perfection and impeccability are not of this world. Everyone makes mistakes, and it is an interesting as well as enlightening part of life. You should not be punished out of proportion when making errors. Okay, like the queen. but um but actions have consequences, and in this world, right, a law-based order, there could be wanting to release that. But I feel like because the certain energies that even after 100 and 200 years, certain ones didn't want to move with the changes, right, and they're causing problems with other countries. Okay. You should not be punished out of proportion when making errors. But should that happen, it is time to reconsider the way your job family relationship works, right? Okay, so is it like if you have children, are you giving them too much weight, right? If you have a cabinet, are you giving them too much weight? Is there something more going on in the upper echelons, right, that is causing this funkiness? Or is it that transformative energy that would be the positive change? You got to really look at that cause and effect. Are we just trying to put a plug here to get by, right? Okay. Let me back up and read that. Okay, so, but if there were consequences, right, or karmic repercussions, it is time to reconsider the way your job family relationship works. Right, especially in the economy. If it's seeing you really, let's say you have a cabinet and what they're suggesting is not working, then that's when you call in other people to really sit down and collaborate. And through that wider collaboration is the solution. Okay. All right. If you had family or a cabinet or something that didn't work before and you had bad results from it, and it was, let's say, going on a period of 4 years, right? Look at the good results and who were those people that gave you those results, right? And maybe go that way. All right. And the ones who gave you the advice that put you in the trenches, that's um, in the swamp, then you want to look at that too. What is your current driving force? Are you acting out of duty, out of joy, out of fear, or out of love? Because I feel like you want to move out of you want to move with joy and love, right? Are you just doing the job because you're that's what's being pushed down the rabbit hole? Okay. So let's talk about this, because that could be talking about the Taurus